What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel where I talk about things. We're in my car, just finished a workout, and then we're here just chatting. So just one thing I want to talk about. I am Mexican. I'm a naturalized citizen, right? But in my feeds, I've been noticing a lot of these trends pop up where like self-deport influencers, which I think is complete BS, and it's disingenuous to the public to paint a picture of Mexico that is coming from a place of privilege. Even if they are just basic people self-deporting, they already have a step up over the regular citizens. Yeah, you might be like, well, what do you know, right? Well, I was an immigrant, right? I came here from Mexico. My parents were from Mexico. We've created a life here. We went to school here. I got naturalized, and I'm happy and proud of the country that, you know, gave me the opportunity to study, where in Mexico you don't really have that opportunity. It's changing, but you're still kind of stuck in this kind of lower working class if you come from nothing. That's not to say you can't become anything, because you do, but it takes really a lot of effort. And what you see on the media is you see this influencer saying like, oh, look at this beautiful middle class living. That's not middle class living. That middle class living is for here, if you take your money here. But that's all these like beautiful places are showing, like beautiful houses. Those are all like higher income Mexican salaries. These are like lawyers, doctors, kind of that's the bracket where these kind of people, transplants, are living. Yeah, you have the middle kind of people that are living in nicer areas, which are like 1,400, but a lot of these areas are not like where basic Mexican public lives, right? The person selling in the corner, the person selling in the market is not living in these areas. And I think that's what's disingenuous about these people portraying Mexico. They're kind of showing this side that's not coming from a Mexican citizen that lives there. Yeah, and there's it's an influencer side where they're already making some form of money, some form of income that already surpasses the income of people living there. I think according to the Mexican labor statistics, the average income for a month for a laborer in Mexico is $800. And you have these influencers coming on here like, oh, look, we're paying $1,200 cheaper than the U.S., or we spent $2,000 a month in Mexico, where in the U.S. we're spending $5,000. And yeah, obviously, you have a heads up against anybody from Mexico, because you have, you speak English, you have some form of trade that's, where you might need someone who speaks English, things of that nature. And then the end product is you're gonna pay for these people to sell you some BS course on how to move to Mexico. And it's always the same thing. Look at every video and they're like, oh, click in the link below and I'll tell you how to do it. It's all BS. Where these normal people were, if they were transplanted in the US, they never made it in the US, right? So now they're trying to sell this image to everybody else of how great it's gonna be when you self-deport. There's a reason my parents came here. There's a reason people want to come here. Is the U.S. still allows you to become something from nothing, right? It's a lot more easier for you to come here to the U.S. with zero education, raise your kids right, get them through college, get them through university, so they can have a better life. I got into architecture and construction. My brother, a rocket scientist in layman terms. My sister, same, her own trucking company. And it's all because of the opportunities we're afforded here. If we were in Mexico, who knows how it would have been. But it takes a lot more effort, because I have family in Mexico that has, become lawyers, become doctors. But the effort to do that was because their father was like really, really like hustling hard to get the money to do that. But not everybody. Like out of the whole family, I would say probably 10% of them actually became anything in the higher income brackets. The other family members, they tried. It's just very difficult if you don't have connections in Mexico to get the job, because you can graduate and have a great career, but if you don't have any connections, those connections are often given to people, nepotism, first in the family, things of that nature. So that's one way. So it's a lot more difficult to get ahead in Mexico. The opportunities are there, that's not to say the least, but I think it's what I want to say is just everybody watching these videos, if you're here, you're Hispanic, you're Latino, be careful. It's all fake stuff, right? Yeah, and but guarantee you a lot of those people are going to come back. Given the chance to come back, a lot of them will come back, unless they have some online business where you're the product and you're funding their lifestyle, they're obviously they're gonna stay wherever it's cheaper, right? And they're gonna keep pushing those videos so you can keep funding that money. That's kind of how it works, right? So just be careful of the images. Mexico is beautiful. It's a beautiful place. Certain areas are beautiful. Certain areas that are communities that are closed are amazing for people coming from the U.S. to go to Mexico. But the warning is, if you have no skill here, no education here, and you go to Mexico, you're not gonna be living some luxurious life, right? A Corvette still costs whatever it costs here in Mexico. A BMW still costs what it costs here in Mexico. That doesn't change. The prices of that doesn't change. The prices that change is like local things, like maybe eggs and things of that nature, right? But the big market items, big Gucci, all that stuff, whatever, it's all the same price. So unless you have a good job here that you can translate to Mexico, like if I were to go to Mexico, be an architect there, right? Then obviously I will be in a higher income bracket in Mexico than somebody who just, works construction, goes there, right? So just be careful with all these fake influencers right now popping up all over the place about praising this self-deportation thing. And obviously, it feels bad that they're going to leave, right? But, they're using that as a way to leverage into influencing and lie to the audience. Well, it's not that great, to be honest. My dad said it himself. He loves going to Mexico to visit his family, but he does not want to go live there. He has a business, a family he built here. He loves the U.S. He'll die for the U.S. and then, he wants to get buried here. Same with me. I was born in Mexico, but I made my family here. I'm grateful for what I have here, what I was able to study, what I'm able to do. And, even though Mexico's beautiful, I love visiting, I'm not going to move to Mexico. If anything, I'll go to Switzerland. So it looks cool there. But anyways, that's just my little rant today. It's like, you guys need to be careful with all these fake influencers right now, glorifying this Mexico life, because under the surface of all that, there's a lot of issues that they're hiding, that they're lying to you about. They say there's no violence, and no. If you look closer, and if you step out of that bubble that most of these people live in a gated community, it's there. And while Mexico's beautiful, I think we should be careful with these influencers and feeding them more views, because it's all BS what they spew. Anyways, that's my take today. I know a lot of those influencers are gonna hate it, but tell me what they do, or let them tell me what they do, right? Hopefully, I bet you guarantee like maybe 90% of those people have no real career, and they're gonna spew you this online business and how you can do it. Just buy their book, buy their course to watch. Anyways, peace out.